this time, post-pandemic, actually, it has drawn a lot of attention, is a global attention to this, your healthcare budget, your budget related to healthcare, uh, because India has really did a great job in terms of managing this, your COVID, in terms of managing the patient, the disease as a whole, controlling the disease, and to some extent, the major part that India has proved that is a consistency taken care by this your for this your vaccination part. It is one of the major event that India could perform great. And has placed a name in this your global pandemic situation. So India really did a great job in terms of managing the disease as part this your COVID, and as well as the vaccination part. Because of this your pandemic, actually, before pandemic, healthcare never actually done much of attention, because the allocation was very less. If you see, our allocation used to be 67,000, around 67,000 crore in terms of allocations of the budget. I'm talking about a little bit of the pre-pandemic or the pandemic 2021. But if you see this 22, 23, this 23, 24, this budget over the time, it has increased to almost is your 90,000 crore, 89,000 some odd amount. So there is even if you consider the last year budget, it was almost 13.4% increased in the allocation, fund allocation. There is two different part. One fund allocation will develop the healthcare, and that's the second part, that is around 3,000 odd amount will go for research purpose. So government this time has given a lot of attention to the research and innovation. There's a lot of attention has been given. So what we see, whatever we had learned during this your COVID situation, that is our healthcare infrastructure is bit unstable, not organized properly. Particularly, it has been failed in the primary healthcare segment. So you know that healthcare actually in three different segment we manage. One is the primary, one is the secondary, one is the tertiary. So primary is the base level. I mean, particularly in the interior level, where there is almost 70% of the population stays in rural areas, where the only the bridge between this your treatment and the patient is only the primary health center, PHC we call about. But there is a tremendous amount of gap in terms of your infrastructure, in terms of manpower. As Mr. Chhajar was talking about the manpower. So yes, it is one of the crucial subject for discussion in terms of health quality, delivery of quality healthcare is the manpower. See, so that is the one part that government has taken over the time in last two budget post pandemic. That is your step by step that's being taken care. So first 21-22 budget that we have seen that there's a government has given a lot of attention to this your primary healthcare center. So almost 1.5 lakhs of primary healthcare center to upgrade. So that is one part that they did. The last year budget that we have seen, I'm talking about the healthcare, I'm related to healthcare only we are discussing. And the last year we have seen the digital mission, creation of the digital mission. So that lot of attention being given in the digital part. So that is overall you must have seen there's how much there's a Atmanirbhar Bharat digital mission, ABDM, that's the discussion today, and it is being working out, and it's a huge amount of digital mission work is happening in terms of your healthcare. So that is because now government is trying to get the big data, so data analysis. So whenever we'll have our card, I mean this your Aadhaar card kind, so all our data will be stored in that particular memory. So anywhere you go, what we have seen in the Western countries, so anywhere you go, you can carry this chip card and you will get all the data related to your healthcare portfolio. So that is the one part that is being taken care. And the third, this year budget. Now let us come to this year budget. There is a major allocations, whatever the allocations been given, there is a one part that has been given, that is your manpower. What Mr. Chhajar was talking about, this manpower. See, you can have lot of instruments, your musical instruments in your place, but until and unless you have a good musicians, this music will not come out. So here is the same part. We are talking about a lot of things. We are talking about technology. We are talking about AI. We are talking about many things. But until and unless we have strong manpower in place, human resources in terms of healthcare, doctors, nurses, paramedics, is not going to happen. So over the time, we have seen that the government has given adequate kind of attention to create those infrastructure in terms of medical colleges. You must have seen there's hundreds of medical colleges coming up. There are a couple of All India Institute has been taken care. I mean, there's a new AIAMS is coming up in many of the locations. Even in our Bengal also, there is one or two AIMS coming up. That's all the doctors' part. This time, the government has given stress on this your nursing. So the 157 medical colleges has been identified, where 157 large nursing colleges that they are coming up in this coming years. So there is a nursing manpower because 4 million nurses there is a shortage, because infrastructure, if you see healthcare infrastructure, there's a huge gap in our deliverables and your WHO World Health Organization's, but your statistics, if you see 1:3, there is a huge gap. So that is one part we are trying to cope up, but until and unless we have manpower, then there is no question of the developing of the infrastructure. So we are talking about a lot of manpower right now. So already under this your healthcare skill development council, because I'm also chairman of this Eastern India Healthcare Development Skill Development Council, and we are working out in terms of lot of that your paramedics courses and all that we are creating. So manpower in terms of your healthcare in the paramedic segment, it's we are just creating heavily. I mean, many colleges, many education institutes we have converted to this your paramedic courses. But that, so for the doctor and the nurses is concerned, yes, in both in primary and the secondary private sector and the government sector, there is a lot of nursing colleges are there. But again, government has given a lot of stress to this your 157 nursing colleges. Already we have mentioned about this your 89,000 crore allocation, 13.4% over the last year increase. But our whole expectation from the healthcare sector that it should come to 2.5% of the GDP, though it is far because we are now still below 2%. But our whole expectation in terms of if you really want to develop healthcare is a 2.5% of the GDP should be allocated in terms of healthcare. So these are the 157 colleges that we had mentioned in terms of your human resources. There is a one segment that has been given the research and the collaborations. So both private and the public, that's collaboration in terms of research and innovations that has been given tremendous scope. So we have a couple of ICMR, your lab that we have seen in this quite proactive in terms of during this your COVID situation. So these ICMR lab will be open for the private sector as well, and they can come up with this your lot of research innovations kind of a activity, because research is very expensive. Not all the private sector can get access of this your research innovations. So this area actually government will give open, and this is, as we have mentioned also, out of 89,000 crore of allocations, 2,800 crore has been identified as the research purpose. So that is one area. Research innovations will take up in a big way. If you are talking about healthcare, I will just take 2 minutes time. If you are talking about healthcare, healthcare is not that only the hospitals. Healthcare is a diagnostic center. Healthcare means hospitals right from the corporate, the public sector, and the nursing home level. But healthcare is also part of this your medtech, medical technology, whatever these are devices and all, the diagnostic centers, this your startups, plenty of startups, and now the one big sector is coming up is a home healthcare. So these are comprising of all these things is coming up is your healthcare. So now this healthcare actually, this medical technology, when we are talking about this very advanced medical technology is coming, because healthcare, medical science is changing very fast. Huge changes we can see. So government has also given that they are going to start some medtech courses, very high profile medical technology courses in various colleges that they have identified, so that they will take up. So this is one area that they have given an allocation as well. There is a one very deadly disease called sickle cell anemia. There is a this big area of concern for the government. We have seen government has worked in a lot of polio and all those things, the eradications of polio and all involve all the Rotary and all that has been taken care. But this time the government has taken care of the sickle cell. Almost 7 crore population, particularly in the district level, between the age group of 0 to 40 years, actually comes to this your sickle cell situation. So that eradication of sickle cell by 2047, that is the mission. But government this time is given a lot of allocations, and they will eradicate this sickle cell maybe by 2047. But the process will start. Almost 7 crore population will get benefit out of this. Lot of creating awareness and all this going to happen. So overall, if you see I mean, if you are talking about this, your Amrit Kal budget, this because government has announced Amrit Kal, government has announced this G20 presidency. This is the first budget of the Amrit Kal. So more healthcare they have looked in is a more futuristic one. It's not present. Previously, we used to talk about exemption of this your customs duty on the heavy equipments, all those things, small things we used to discuss, talk about. But this time we are talking about the futuristic way, how best way healthcare can be, because healthcare is growing very fast. Almost 17.6% CAGR healthcare is growing over the years. I mean, if we are talking about year-to-year growth. So that needs a lot of support from the government, and the government is a quite balanced way. Government has made this budget in terms of healthcare and given a lot of attention to the futuristic one, given a lot of attention to this your technology, given attention to this education, and given attention to the research and innovation. So this is a nutshell of this your healthcare so far related to the budget in this year 2023. Thank you so much.